So you join me in the B room, the room that we designed in the last episode. And last time, we also designed some automatic Piglich hearts, as well as the Allthemodium Vibranium Alloy Ingot. And we set it all up over here. There's still 2 more ingots, and we said in the last one that we'd set them up in today's episode, and that is exactly what we're going to be doing. But there's a little bit of prep work that we need to do beforehand, and that is mine out the 2 little sections on each side of this room. I have gone ahead and made all of the bees that are required for the Unobtainium Allthemodium Alloy Ingot, and I've laid it out with an ingot above and all the bees that are needed underneath. So we've got 5 air essence, fire essence, water essence, and earth essence, and we've got the enchanting apparatus and the arcane platforms to go with it, ready for it to be set up. Down here we've got the Unobtainium Vibranium Alloy Ingot, and we've got the soul lava bees, as well as the pink slimy bee. Now, I am going to show you dead quick how we actually get the soul lava bee, because it is pretty useful. First of all, we want a bucket of soul lava. Now, I had loads of these from the other when we last went, and you can see here, I've already got soul lava inside the foundry. However, to put the soul lava in, we take the bucket and we right click on the drain, and you can see it went from 2 buckets to 3 buckets, and then we can just simply ghostly be on the casting table and pour some soul lava over it. Now, it does take a little bit of time for the bee to cool down. Once it does cool down, we'll get the bee spawn egg. Now, to get the air essence and the fire essence, water essence, and the earth essence, there's 4 different crafting recipes, all using the enchanting apparatus. I thought you guys wouldn't want to see that because it is quite boring, and it did take me probably about 4 hours just to get all of these eggs. And then all of this assortment of bees here, there's about 6 different bees here. These are the bees that just need automating. However, we only have 4 spaces left in this room, so it looks like we're going to have to work on another bee room as well. There's a lot that needs to be done, but first things first, let's go mine out those other little nodes in the alloy room. So that didn't take long to get these 2 little nodes mined out. And the first one I want to set up, and it's probably going to be the hardest one, and it's the enchanting apparatus one, which is the Unobtainium Allthemodium Alloy Ingots. And you can see this is how it's going to be set up. So we put the enchanting apparatus, I'm going to put it there. Then would like to leave a gap around, just so it looks a little bit more presentable. And this enchanting apparatus actually uses source to work, so we're going to have to set up a way of getting source. And what my idea is I was going to have a massive shelving unit on the back supplying this thing with source, but we're going to have to get a way of generating it. And I was going to use the agronomic source links with some snad and some cactus with absorption hoppers and a trash can to get rid of the cactus. And that should generate us enough of the source. So I've got the setup going, well, ready to go, almost. I just need to place in the cactus. I just want to get a couple of source jars first. I've done both levels, and I've only filtered it, so cactus gets picked up and trash canned in case I ever want to add extra cactus, or I want to add extra source links or anything like that. These ain't going to pick them up if I place them wrong and bin the items that I don't want it to bin. So let's go get a couple of source jars. There are different variations of source jars, and the ones I want to be using are the unobtainium ones because they hold the most. And the way we get these unobtainium source jars is by surrounding the enchanting apparatus with unobtainium and then putting a source jar in the middle. It'll do its little spin ritual thing, and we have ourselves one unobtainium source jar. Now to do it another 14 times. Okay, so I've got them all made and they're all in. Now we can actually start to place in this cactus. And hopefully over time these will just fill up. So now we actually have to go and sort out the bees, because at the minute we aren't getting any of the essences required to set this process up. So let's go and do that. Okay, so I've gone ahead and labeled what I can. I kind of ran out of essence here, and I've also gone ahead and set up the feeding slabs and all the fluid stuff with the Omega upgrades inside of the beehives. So I'll quickly set one up with you now so you know how to do it. So we'll set up the air essence. So we grab our bees, we make sure we have bee cages, and we just want to simply spawn them in, pick them up until we have none left. Once we've put all the genes that we want on them, the high productivity, strong endurance, make sure they're all passive and stuff, we can then throw them inside of the beehive, like so, and they'll start working away. Of course, with having the Omega upgrade, they ain't going to leave this beehive, and they will pollinate off the feeding slab right here. So with the modular routers that we have set up, the way I've got it working is obviously heated centrifuge in line with the beehive. The one to the left is activated for pulling out fluids from this heated centrifuge, and then it'll send it to the bin. What we then want to do, the modular router above the heated centrifuge, we want to obviously pull out of the beehive with a puller module. We put it in. We then, on one of the sender modules, want to whitelist pollen, because that will be an output. We then want to just send that straight into the end chest that we've got going on. Make sure that goes in first, because if it doesn't, then this will get stuck with pollen. We then want to get the next puller sender module, whitelist it to make sure that it's pulling out only the air essence. We don't want it to get mixed up, and we want to put that into the heated centrifuge. We'll then put that in. That will then put everything into the heated centrifuge. We then want to make sure we are pulling out the air essence. So with the puller module, we want to make sure we are whitelisting any air essence, although I'm pretty sure this is the only output item that we can get. But as a safety precaution, we'll just do air essence. We'll then pull it out from the heated centrifuge, put it in the modular router, start pulling it out, the air essence, and then we'll send that back into the ender chest, and we can put the sender module in that modular router as well, and that will start sending it to our system, and we'll start getting air essence. Now we have to do the same thing for the earth essence, water essence, and fire essence. So that's exactly how I'll set up those. So I'll be back with you once I've set those up. Okay, so I've gone ahead and automated the rest of the bees. They're all finished. So we can actually start to automate the alloy. However, we haven't got the arcane bee set up for the source gems, but that's because we need to put it in another room, and we've not mined out that room yet. But we have over 1600 source gems anyway, should be able to try and test and make sure this automation is going to work. So what I've gone ahead and done is referred back to the original enchanting apparatus from the tower, and I forgot to put in the arcane core. Now I've put that in and it's all working fine. What I've gone ahead and done is I've put in an advanced pattern provider with the pattern in, and this is a processing pattern, and it then puts all the items needed in this chest, because unfortunately I cannot hook the pattern provider to the arcane core and it start feeding items. Doesn't work like that, kind of a little bit annoying. So what I've gone ahead and done is I've used modular routers. So it puts everything in this chest that we need. It then pulls absolutely everything out using this modular router. Now this is what I want to test. Can I make more than one without this modular router backing up? So what it's doing is it's pulling anything and everything out of the chest and then sending it to all of these arcane platforms, whichever one is going to be empty. Once it then makes the unobtainium or the modium alloy, this modular router will pull it out and send it into this end chest, which then goes back to our system. So what I want to try and do is I want to try and make 2 of these. Are we going to get stuck? Yes, we are. Okay, and it's because it's trying to pull out the multiple items at once, which is not good. Okay, so I've managed to get this to work, and it's pretty simple. Like, the setup really hasn't changed since the last time you saw it. The only difference is I've taken out the ender chest, because if we set the pattern provider to crafting is locked, what happens is it'll only put in a certain amount of items into this chest. This modular router will pull out all the other items apart from source gems, sending it to all of these arcane platforms, which I might turn into pedestals because of the arcane core. I think it looks a little ridiculous, the fact that these are on the floor and the enchanting apparatus is up a little bit. The source gems are getting pulled out from this modular router here, because they need to go into the middle on their own. The next thing that happens is the ritual. It'll all start spinning. It'll make us the allmodium unobtainium alloy. It then gets pulled out by this modular router, but instead of getting sent back to the chest, because if I send it back to the chest, this modular router will activate and pull it out and put it on this pedestal over here. So what we do to get around that is we send the unobtainium or the modium alloy into the advanced extended pattern provider instead, because it has a little return inventory there, and that will allow us to create multiple of these at once. So if I wanted to make 4, I can simply just let it do its thing. In fact, what we'll do is we'll put some speed and stack upgrades in there to make this go a bit quicker. However, I'm going to change this puller because it seemed to pull out the source gems. I'm going to blacklist the source gems so they cannot be pulled out by this thing. So it made 1 as I was switching that puller. This is the second one. The second one has been made, and then it'll do it all again. Do the third one until the third one's made, and then the fourth and final one. And just like that, the auto crafting is complete, and that is another alloy automated. So the only alloy we have left to automate is the unobtainium vibranium alloy, but that requires 2 bees that we haven't automated yet. Those being the pink slime bee to get the pink slime balls, and the soul lava bee to get the soul lava needed to craft the unobtainium vibranium alloy ingot. I have both of these bees right here. However, no room to put them in. I'm lying. I made a room off camera. Pretty much exact same layout as the last room. It's just got no decorations in as of yet, because the bees are more important than the decorations. So let's do the soul lava bee, shall we? We made the eggs. We've now got to spawn them in and put them in the bee cages, ready to be put inside of this beehive. So let's put them in. They are now all in their beehive. I've made the area behind here as well. I know that they feed off soul lava itself. However, there's no way of putting liquids in here, so I'm going to hope and pray that they go off of the bucket as well. The way we could test that, though, is we can just speed this up a bit and see what happens. Hopefully we get some combs. We do! That is lovely to see. So let's automate that one. We're going to need some pullers and some senders. So with this modular on top, what we want to do is pull from the beehive. And then we want to put any of the pollen straight into the end chest going back to the system. And the soul lava comb blocks going straight into the heated centrifuge, ready to make us that soul lava. Now, luckily for me, this is the only output of this comb, so I can simply just set up a couple of fluid modules. So we want to pull in the liquid from here, and we want to make sure we get the bucket, which we do. We get the soul lava bucket itself, and then we simply just want to put it into this end tank. Now, I've linked this end tank already up to our system, so hopefully we should be getting soul lava. Perfect. Onto the pink slime. And the pink slime is the exact same. We want to have a puller pulling from the beehive, sending any pollen straight to the ender chest, and then any pink slimy cone blocks are going into the centrifuge, which are then getting processed, and we only get pink slime, much like the soul lava. That's then getting pulled out from this modular router with a fluid upgrade, pulling from the heated centrifuge and sending it straight to this end tank, which is going to our system, and we already have 7 buckets. And that should be everything needed for the unobtainium vibranium alloy ingot. So what I've gone ahead and done as well is I've added a load of dissolution chambers. Now, it's done in 2 tiers. Top tier will make only pink slime. The bottom tier will be making the alloy itself. So I should be able to request a couple of pink slime balls, and let's see what happens, because they might get stuck and I might have to use a modular router to send it back to the system. That's what I think will happen anyway. But there's only one way to find out, and that's by giving it a go. So it's working. It's making a few. Again, I need to get all the upgrades and things in these. And yes, they do get stuck. That's fine. We can send them back to the system. I just need to make a bulk storage for these. Okay, so I believe I have the pink slime working. Let's try and make some more. Let's try again. So we have 4 in there already. Let's try making another 10. Now, of course, it's going to be a little slow because I don't have the upgrades in there. But let's see if it starts making them. It's making some over here. It's making some over here. So we should have 14 by the end of it. We do now. It took a little minute. I think the server lagged then a little bit, but it's fine. We've done it. We've got it. It's absolutely golden. And the water will just stay in these ones until it's available to come out. So I'm going to have to just... that's fine. Luckily, I'm not doing too much with these ones. So now let's perfect the unobtainium vibranium alloy ingot. Okay, so I believe I have it all done. I've got it pulling out only the unobtainium vibranium alloy ingots and then sending it straight into this chest, which will go back to the system. But there's only one way to check and see if it's working, and that is just by going for it. So let's try and get 3. We can do it. We've got the stuff. Let's go. We should already have slime balls, the ones that we made before. I'm then going to request a couple extra as well to make sure this process is working as it should and the next process. But as we can see here, we are getting the unobtainium vibranium alloy ingots. So I want to try and request 10. And of course, we're going to have to craft some of these pink slimes. Let's try it. Now, it is going to be rather quite slow, only because of the limitation on the machines. We haven't got speed upgrades just yet. But what we can do is put speed upgrades in everything else. And just like that, we got the notification saying autocraft complete. And that is it. We have automated all of the alloys. I'm not going to decorate this room today. I think I'm going to save that for next time, only because this video has been dragging a little too long, and this was more about the alloys than it is about the room. I'm also going to off camera make a load of speed upgrades and efficiency upgrades for these dissolution machines, so they are as quick as they possibly can be. But that's going to do us for today's video, so thank you all for watching. If you have enjoyed it, make sure to smash the like button, subscribe if you are new, and I will see you all again very, very soon. Goodbye.